Welcome into the most crucial match week of the entire season. The Five Stripes begin it on the outside of the playoff line, looking in, and there's one side standing in their way. Montreal, who comes into Mercedes-Benz Stadium today. That's Jason Longshore. I'm Joe Fryhofer. This is your AT&T Countdown to Kickoff. Jason, everything involves the logjam in the MLS Eastern Conference. There's only 4 points separating 8th place all the way down to 13th. In order to jump Montreal and get back into that playoff push, it's gotta be 3 points.
Yeah, it's a really complicated playoff picture in the Eastern Conference. I don't remember it ever being this complicated. And when you look at what is needed for Atlanta United to get in, I think 3 points against Montreal is a must. If you don't and you pick them up somewhere else, then Montreal has run away from you a little bit, and it's gonna be a challenge. That's why the draw in Philadelphia was so important, to not let Philadelphia run away from you. They have a very difficult run-in. The schedule for a lot of these teams around Atlanta United, there's some difficult matchups, but to control what you can control, you have to get 3 points against Montreal, and that's not going to be easy.
Those points, Montreal have been picking up a lot of them. They've got 10 points from their previous 4 matches, coming off of a 3-0 victory against San Jose. A name that should ring a bell in a lot of 17s heads. Joseph Martinez is coming off of a 2-goal performance in that match as well. How do we contain the Venezuelan?
I think some of it is down to the pieces around Joseph with Montreal. First, full credit to Laurent Courtois and the job he's doing in his first year with Club de Foot Montreal. He has a very clear identity that he wants this team to play with, but I think he's also adapted to what he's had to work with. And that's evolved as the year has gone on. They've added Jaquil Marshall-Rutty from Toronto. He's the right wing back right now, adding a lot of width on that side. And they added Caden Clark, a player that maybe some people have forgotten about, wasn't getting the time after his move to Europe, came back to MLS in Minnesota, wasn't really making an impact there. He's made a huge impact with Montreal, because what it allows Courtois to do, and this benefits Joseph in a big way, 2 10s behind Joseph. So it's a box midfield in front of 3 center backs, 2 wing backs providing the width. But that box can evolve. And the main reason why it can evolve is guys like Bryce Duke and Caden Clark, who are good defensive players, along with creating opportunities. So it can turn into 3 behind 1 at times. It can turn into 2 10s behind Joseph, both looking to feed him with the width being provided, especially on the right, from Marshall-Rutty. So Joseph is thriving in that. Montreal is thriving in that. Back-to-back clean sheets and 5 goals in those last 2 wins. You think back to the way that this looks with the 3-4-2-1, if you want to put it that way. It's a lot like Atlanta United played to start the 2020 season. And remember how Joseph looked in those games against CONCACAF opponents and in that first game against Nashville before his ACL injury. He was thriving with 2 10s behind him. He's doing it again right now for Montreal.
In the summer transfer window for the Five Stripes, they went out and added balance, signing Portuguese fullback Pedro Amador, who has been very active, involving himself with overlapping runs into the final third, some fizzing balls into the area that have resulted in a lot of chances created for United. And against the Philadelphia Union on the other flank was right back Brooks Lennon. That dynamism has created freedom in the attack for the Five Stripes.
You'll get more out of the right side, and that's been really good all season long with Lobjanidze and Lennon really providing and scoring, in Saba's case, from the right. Saba this time scores from the left because that's just what he does, right? He floats around. But Lennon has been great getting forward, and at times as the year went on, when the left side wasn't providing what it needed to, I think it was easier for teams to key on the right. I asked Brooks Lennon about Pedro Amador's emergence, getting forward and providing a little more balance to the team at training this week. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, he's been great for us. You know, it's important to have guys come in the middle of the season and help us get points. He had a great assist. I think it was against Miami at home. That's going to help us. The more we can use him and his abilities, it'll help us get into the playoffs. So he's been good for us, and we're lucky to have him.
Atlanta United takes on Montreal tonight at 7:30 through the MLS Season Pass on Apple TV. 3 points is a must in order to line ourselves up with Montreal as we continue to push to that playoff line. Mike Conti and Jason Longshore have your call on 92.9 The Game, where every last moment counts.
Pre-game coverage starts at 6:30. The Five Stripes Countdown kickoff at 7:40. You can listen on 92.9 The Game, the Odyssey app. You can also listen on Apple TV, MLS Season Pass. Go into the audio menu and choose Home Team Radio.
That's Jason Longshore. I'm Joe Fryhofer. We're hoping for another sabotage tonight from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This has been your AT&T Countdown to Kickoff. We'll see you there.